So good day guys, welcome back. Now I'm gonna talk about the TOM980 Barebone version. So this is the Barebone versions. And so when we say Barebone version, it doesn't come with any switches, any keycaps, but it does come with the battery, the case, the PCB, the steel plate, and the stabilizers. So since I have the Barebone version, I still need to order the switches and the keycaps. So the bare bones version is a good option for people who love to mod their keyboards like me. So as always, I always start with the unboxing. So let's start with the review. As always, let's start with the unboxing. So let's open the box. As you guys could see, it is well protected. We have the white cables. This is a Type-C cable, so that's always good. And then we have the stabilizers. I don't really love the colors of this, to be honest. And the rubber pads are the anti-slip stickers for the base of the keyboard. And the 2.4 GHz USB dongle. Now for the keyboard, it is protected by two styrofoams in the sides to keep the keyboard in place. Now let's see the keyboard. It is color purple, so there are other colors to choose from. So far so good, nothing seems to be broken, so that's always a good thing. Now, the plastic is see-through, so we could see the PCB in here and the battery. It also has a 2-level height adjustment for more comfort and ergonomics. And over here is the power button. There are 3 modes to choose from: the Bluetooth, the 2.4 GHz dongle, and of course the wired connection. Now, to be honest with you, this is the worst power button ever. It's hard to switch between modes and it doesn't seem durable enough. So for a zoom shot, we could see that this is a 5-pin PCB. So if you have a 5-pin switch or a 3-pin switch, this will perfectly fit it. Now let's check if the RGB is working. So I'll be putting a switch here and let's see if it will register. So the RGB works, nothing seems to be broken, everything is working fine, and it has a beautiful RGB too. Next up is the anti-slip rubber pads and the 2.4 GHz dongle. So it's just the usual 2.4 GHz dongle, nothing special really. So apparently we still need to stick the anti-slip rubber pads in the keyboard. Honestly, it's just extra work for us. So to be honest, I had a hard time installing these sticker pads. I honestly don't know where to put them at first. I'm just checking the sizes and lengths of the pads and the slots to check if it will fit or not. Now I'm checking if there are any slot compartment for the USB 2.4 dongle. So apparently there is none, so that's a downside for me, since the dongle would easily get lost, especially when you are not careful and constantly travel with your keyboard. Next up, we'll be checking the cable for the charger. So this is a Type-C charger, which is a good thing for me. What's cool with this cable is that it has a fin that would fit the charger compartment, so it will stay in place and lock onto it. And you could also use different Type-C chargers with this keyboard, so it's okay if you use a different one. It doesn't matter. Now what's amazing with this keyboard is that it has a wire compartment for the charging cable to improve cable management. As you can see here, the cable locks onto the compartment, so that's a cool gimmick for the keyboard. Now next up, we'll be installing the stabilizers. Of course, we'll be lubing it first. Always lube your stabilizers, guys. So the first thing is to disassemble the stabilizers first. The tools I'll be using is the Kelowna Permatex 22058 for lubing. So if you don't know how to lube your stabs, just follow what I'm doing. Next up is will be disassembling the keyboard to install the stabilizers and check what's inside the keyboard. So this is the trickiest part right now, so you need patience and perseverance disassembling the keyboard since the case is quite hard to remove. So first thing we need to do is to remove the side case. This will be quite tricky to do since they are tightly snapped with the base of the keyboard. So you need a tool to pry it open, but you need to be careful not to break it since it is made out of plastic. Now once that is off, it's time to unscrew the screws. We need to locate the screws first, just follow the steps I'm doing here. Now safely lift the steel plate from the case and we will see that it has a foam dampener already installed. So the foam dampeners has a good quality to it. It's like a rubbery sponge material if you are curious. Now let's check the battery and the Bluetooth connector. As you can see, the power switch is made out of plastic and it is easy to lose, so be careful with it when opening the keyboard. And the battery is connected through a 2-wire pin which connects to the PCB. Another great thing about the TOM980 is that you could install another battery in the PCB, so in total you could have 2 batteries as long as it is the same voltage as the original battery. I'll be posting another video about how to install or how to replace your keyboard battery so that you will have knowledge on how to do it on your own. So now let's install the stabilizers. I honestly did have a hard time installing it, so I'll just time lapse the process. And now let's put back the screws to secure the keyboard. Now to connect via Bluetooth, switch the power to the letter B. Then you need to press F1, either press 1, 2, or 3. So that would be F1 plus 1 or F1, FN plus 2 or FN plus 3. Now you need to hold on to the buttons for 3 to 5 seconds and wait for the blinking dots to speed up. And for dongle switch, switch the power to the letter G, press FN plus 4 for 3 to 5 seconds and wait for the blinking dots to speed up. And now for the wired, you just need to turn off the keyboard and connect it via cable. Now for the review. So the TOM980 is a 98 profile keyboard. It is connected via Bluetooth, via 2.4 GHz dongle, and wired connection. So this right here is the barebone version. So it has no switches and no keycaps. Its battery is 1850 mAh and the case is made out of see-through plastic. There are colors to choose from. I just opted with the purple one. It has a 5-pin PCB, so a 3-pin and a 5-pin switch would work. It has 2 adjustable legs to improve the height, and it has a foam dampener already installed. So now, what do I love about this keyboard? So first things first, it has a see-through plastic. This one, as you could see, it is a see-through. It has a clear plastic on it. So this kind of reminded me of the old Game Boy Advance console that has a see-through design, which I really loved when I was a kid. So another thing is it is very affordable. It is one of the most affordable 98 profile keyboard. I think the most affordable 98 profile keyboard that has Bluetooth and has a 2.4 gigahertz dongle with it. So it is very cheap in comparison with the Leopold and the Akko 980 keyboard, which are very expensive. But they have their own reasoning on why they are expensive in comparison with this. So another thing is the RGB of this keyboard is very bright and it is very beautiful for me. So I really love the RGB on it. What's more amazing is that when you are using a pudding keycap, the bright and the colors are perfectly mixed together. So that's another plus points for me. So another thing that I like about this keyboard, it has already a free foam dampener mod inside of it. So I don't have to spend any extra cash on the foam dampener mod. So that's always a good thing. You don't even have to trouble yourself with installing the foam dampener or buying another foam dampener and installing it on this keyboard. So another thing, it has a 5-pin PCB, so it's more compatible with other switches. Switches with 3-pin and 5-pin will perfectly fit on this keyboard. Another thing is it has an extra room for the battery, so you could have an extra battery to be used inside of this. You could have 2 batteries. As you can see, I have 2, one and the other one. So more battery life is always good, especially when you are using it wirelessly. So one of the bad thing that I don't like about this keyboard is that it has a slight flex to it. It's probably due to the plastic being used for it, since it is a see-through plastic, so it's not that durable. Another thing is it is very hard to open, especially the top casing. It is so bothersome to remove, so you must have the patience for it and you must have the proper tool to use as a leverage. Again, like I've said, the case is fragile, so when you drop it, it will most likely crack open, since the plastic is once again not that good or durable. Another thing is the power button, the ugly power button. So I don't really like it. It is one of the worst I've ever experienced. Another thing is it has no manual guide, so it's really up to you to figure out how to use this thing. Luckily, the seller was responsive to questions, so that's always a great thing. So in conclusion, overall, this is a practical keyboard. It is cheap, it has a good potential and opportunity for modding. So I do love this keyboard and I think this is better than the RK100. It is cheap, it has a free foam dampener and you could add another battery on it. And it is a 98 key profile keyboard, so in comparison with the RK100, which is only a 96 layout keyboard. I highly recommend buying this keyboard, so you guys should buy this instead of the buying the RK100 or the Keychron K4. So don't go for Leopold or the Akko keyboard since they are very expensive. So I'd rather recommend don't spend your money on expensive keyboards, just go for this one. Not unless of course you are super rich and has tons of cash, then go for the Akko or the Leopold. I'm not stopping you. This one is for the budget friendly people like me. So stay tuned for the build video of this keyboard. I used I think this is a cherry keycap and I modded the switch. The switch I used for this is a silent tactile switch. So stay tuned, guys. Please do leave a like and leave a comment about the barebone version if you're curious, or if you have any uh, inquiries about the barebone version. I'll try to answer them on the comment section, so leave any comments down. And please do leave a like and subscribe for more contents and videos.